So not too long ago, if you wanted to make these type of thumbnails, you either had to pay someone or do it yourself, and it usually took hours to do. But recently ChatGPT has gotten extremely good at making images, and you can now create these type of thumbnails in about 2 minutes. So today I'll be putting ChatGPT to the test and trying to create different types of 3D thumbnails, and let's see if they turn out to be good or if they look like AI made them. Alright, so the first type of thumbnail I want to try to make is this classic 1v1 type thumbnail, and you usually see it on a lot of Fortnite creative maps or on YouTube videos. So I'm gonna just drag it into ChatGPT, and then for the prompt I just said I want you to keep the same style and theme of the first image, which is the image I just dragged in, and then though I need you to change the composition of the first image and change the skin of the first image to the fish from the second image. So let's just send this and see if it changes this skin to the fish stick skin, and then it should also change the composition. Dang, okay, I actually did not expect it to turn out this well. It's not completely perfect. Like, I don't know what it's holding in its hand. That's not really a pencil, but I mean, overall this is extremely good. This would cost like, I think like 20 to 30 bucks on Fiverr, or it would take like at least 2 hours to make. So this is pretty solid, but what I want to do is try to change it up and see if it can completely make something different. So I just wrote "that's insane" so it actually knows it did a good job, and then now try doing something completely different. Keep the same 1v1 theme, just change it however you want and come up with something even more clickable, keeping the fish. So pretty much ChatGPT is in complete control now of how this looks. It just has to keep the same 1v1 theme, and let's see if it comes up with something good. Wow, okay, this is actually pretty cool. This one kind of has like a weird filter on it, so it's not perfect, but I mean, it looks extremely good. And I don't really know what he's holding in his hand again. It doesn't even look like a pencil, but it's not terrible. Like, overall this is pretty cool. All right, let's just continue to try to make this even more crazier. So I'm gonna just say wow. Now add more action in the background. Let's turn this into a free-for-all while still keeping the same Fortnite style. And also the aspect ratio is a little off, so I'm gonna just see if it can extend the image a bit, but if not, we could just do that in Photoshop. All right, so this is the prompt. Wow. Now add more action in the background. Let's turn this into a free-for-all while still keeping the same Fortnite style, and then we'll see if it can fix the aspect ratio. Alright, this might be the worst one. It seems like with every prompt it's just kind of getting a little bit worse. Like, we got flying people in the background, and I mean, these aren't even Fortnite skins. Like, what is that? But overall these first two came out pretty good, and this first one is absolutely perfect. But now let's start a new chat and try to create something completely different. So I went over to Fortnite.gg and I found this one Fortnite Mafia Tycoon map, and I then just downloaded the thumbnail and dragged it into ChatGPT, and I pretty much just said make me a Fortnite Tycoon style thumbnail similar to the first image, which is the image that I just dragged in, though I want the tycoon to be a weapon tycoon where you make weapons and ammo. So make the fish hold a weapon while smiling, because almost every tycoon map has a fish smiling in the thumbnail. And for the background, have it be like a weapon shop / lab where weapons and ammo are made. And I then just put in parentheses the second image is the full fish skin I want you to use, so it has the full reference of the fish. So let's just send this and see how it turns out. Alright, so this is how it turned out. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not that good. The text just looks like AI, and then, I mean, to be honest, the whole image kind of just looks like AI. So let's see if we could fix this and make this look better. So just to kind of summarize the prompt, what I said is not bad. Just keep the same vibrant style from the first image, make it very clickable, and use complementary colors with the well composition. And I also said to get rid of the text, and for the aspect ratio, make it 16:9, which is also just 1920 by 1080. So let's send this and see if it makes it look better. Alright, so this is how it turned out. It's definitely better than the first image it generated, but I mean, it still doesn't look that good. I don't know why the walls are yellow. That makes absolutely no sense. So I'm gonna just tell ChatGPT to make the walls not yellow, and then we'll try to make it pop with some type of glow. So here's the prompt I got. Okay, now just add colors, make it pop and very vibrant. Add a glow behind the fish to make it pop. Make the weapon shop, and then I got in parentheses the background, look more like a metal complex shop / lab. No yellow walls. So it's kind of a confusing prompt, but I'm sure ChatGPT can understand what I'm trying to say. So let's just send this and see if it makes something better than whatever this is. Alright, now we're cooking. This is actually pretty good. It pops much more and the colors look better. And I would say this is definitely usable, but let's try to make it even better. So I'm gonna just say to ChatGPT, not bad, but let's make this pop. And then I'm gonna cap that so it knows to really make it pop. And then use more glows and then fix the composition because it just looks a little off the composition. It kind of looks like a PNG was just slapped on the background. So we'll see if it can make that look better. Alright, so I just added a little bit more to the prompt. So here's what we got. Not bad, but let's make this pop. Use more glows, though the right ones, so it doesn't look neon. Use a different composition, just more colors, and make it pop, all caps, and have all colors complement each other well. Alright, so let's send this, and this will be the final prompt, and if it turns out well, that'll be amazing, but if not, we'll just move on to the final image. Alright, there we go. This is actually super good. Like, this is definitely usable. This is exactly what I wanted. The colors look great. It doesn't look like a PNG just slapped on a background. It actually looks like the fish is in the lab. So overall, I would say this is pretty good. The first two were pretty terrible, but after talking to it a bit, it definitely did cook up something pretty good. Alright, so the last image I want to try to generate, and this will be the final test, is I found this one Avenger image, and what I want to do is replace the Avenger characters with Fortnite skins, and it won't be Avenger theme at all, but I'm gonna use this as a reference image so ChatGPT knows what I'm trying to generate. And then what I'm gonna say is I want you to make me a Fortnite style thumbnail similar to the reference image, which is the image we just dragged in. And then though what's going to be different, hold on, I just gotta fix my grammar fast, is I want it to be all Fortnite theme, and instead of Avengers, I want it to just be a combat pose scene where all the Fortnite skins are preparing for battle, similar to the, and then we'll say in parentheses first image, and then at the end we'll just make sure the image is in the correct aspect ratio. And then I'm gonna just add right here, I don't want any Avenger props. The first image is just a reference of how I want you to lay out this new Fortnite image. Alright, so I just made it a little bit more clear. So here's the final prompt. I want you to make me a Fortnite style thumbnail similar to the reference image, which is this image. And then though what's going to be different is I want it to be all Fortnite theme, and instead of Avengers, I want it to be a combat pose scene where all the Fortnite skins, and then the second image, which is all the Fortnite skins, are preparing for battle similar to the first image. And then I don't want any Avenger props. The first image is just a reference of how I want you to lay out the new Fortnite image. And then at the end, I just set it to make it 16:9 aspect ratio. So let's see what this cooks up. Alright, I think we might have pushed it to the limits. This is absolutely cooked. These aren't even Fortnite skins. Like, Renegade Raider is honestly scary looking. So let's just continue to talk to it and see if we can make it look better. Alright, so this is the prompt I got. Okay, you got the idea right, but I want you to change the poses of the skins to make it look cinematic and epic. Add gunfire and explosions. Add fog and glow. And then in parentheses, we got make the skins more accurate to the reference image. They need to look exact, though you can change the pose. And then if you can't make the faces 100% accurate, hide it with some type of explosion, anything. And then lastly, in parentheses, we got only if needed, try not to. So let's send this and see if it can hide the faces, if it can't generate them 100% accurate. And then hopefully it'll add some explosions and fog in the background. This is definitely much better, but the Fortnite skins are still absolutely cooked. Not one of them looks good but the fish. So I think, to be honest, the only skins it can generate are skins that have just a easy, simple face. So like Renegade Raider and Midas, it seems to really struggle with those two. And Peely is pretty messed up too, same with Guff. But it seems like it can generate the fish pretty accurate most of the times. So what I think we gotta do is I think we gotta make all the Fortnite skins look away from the camera, because it can't seem to get the faces right. So if they're all just looking away at something in the distance, I think that will work, and I think it will look cool. Okay, so I just wrote this prompt, make the skins proportionate, because they just look a little skinny, and I think it's because it's trying to fit all the skins in the image, and the faces just look terrible. So make the skins all look away from the camera so you can't even see their face, and have them all be looking at something in the distance like a spaceship or explosion. Here's a reference image to kind of show what I'm talking about. So I found this one Avenger image that Fortnite made, and it has the Fortnite skins looking away from the camera, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I just gave it to ChatGPT to kind of give it a reference. So let's send this and see if it can make all the skins look away. And it's also going to have to generate the back of the skins, and it doesn't have any reference image of what the back of the skins look like. So we'll see if it can actually make that look accurate, and this hopefully will look good. Okay, so this is how it turned out, and this is probably the best one. Midas and Renegade Raider still aren't accurate, and I think it's because, like I said, ChatGPT doesn't have a reference of what the back of these Fortnite skins look like, so it's just trying to come up with what it thinks it looks like. But it also got the fish stick skin wrong. It's not even looking backwards, it's looking straight. So I'm gonna just say to ChatGPT, much better, though the fish is not looking away, and get rid of the vest on the pink fluffy skin. And then I'm gonna also say, also to clear it up a bit, get rid of the second skin to the left, the girl, the Renegade Raider, because it keeps messing her up. And then I'm gonna also just say, also make the poses more epic. Alright, so here's the prompt. It's pretty simple. Much better, though the fish is not looking away, so fix that and get rid of the vest on the pink fluffy skin. Also to clear it up a bit, get rid of the second skin to the left, also just Renegade Raider, but I don't know if it knows that, so I'm gonna just say the girl. And then also make the poses more epic. So let's send this and see if it makes it look better. Alright, this might honestly be worse than the last one. He got rid of the Renegade Raider, and now the fish is looking away. But overall, from the start to what we got now, it's definitely better. So what I'm gonna do, and this will be the final thing, is I'm just gonna get rid of all the Fortnite skins. It seems to struggle with any complex skin, but it seems to do really good with fish stick. So I'm gonna say get rid of all the skins but the fish, and make the fish sit in sadness, because I mean this scene doesn't really look that good. So I think if the fish looks sad, I think it'll just fit the scene well. Alright, this looks okay. I don't think fish stick wears a hat like that, and I also don't think fish stick wears shoes, but it's not terrible. But I think if you showed someone this, I think they would be able to tell it's AI. But overall, it's not bad. But I then just continued to talk to ChatGPT a little bit more, because I wanted to try to make this look decent, and I was able to kind of fix fish stick a little bit. It's still not perfect, and fish stick doesn't look that good, but overall I would say ChatGPT did cook up some pretty good images. It's not perfect, but where it was at like 3 months ago, you could 100% tell they were AI images, but now it's kind of hard to tell. So could you use ChatGPT to make thumbnails? I would say so, but to make professional 3D thumbnails, you still probably got to pay someone or do it yourself. But I seriously think in a few more months, ChatGPT will be as good as a professional. So this was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.